So here, heat engine is the device used to convert the heat energy into mechanical work. That is the general definition, simple definition of the heat engine. In heat engine, there are two types: external combustion heat engine, internal combustion heat engine. In external combustion heat engine, to do mechanical work, whatever the heat energy needed, that is taken from outside the system. Outside the system. Such type of heat engines are called the external combustion heat engines. Example, steam engine. By means of steam, the mechanical work is done. But in order to produce the steam, heat energy is needed. That is taken from outside the system. That's why it is the external combustion heat engine. Internal combustion heat engine. The heat needed to do mechanical work is taken from the system itself. The heat required to do mechanical work is taken from the system itself. Example, rockets. They produce the heat energy from the fuel only inside it, inside the rocket only, and they produce the energy. They produce the because of burning the fuel, they produce the heat energy there only, and with the help of the heat energy, rocket will move in forward direction. So that is the internal combustion heat engine. So there are example rocket we can write rocket propulsion or rocket. That is the these are the examples of external and internal combustion heat engines. Or we can take the uh, motor vehicle, petrol inside the petrol burns and produces the pressure and it runs the motorcycle. Okay, so petrol engine, fuel engine, petrol engine, etc. Okay, these are the internal combustion heat engines. In case of any type of heat engine, in case of any type of heat engine which converts the heat energy into mechanical work, the efficiency eta is equal to efficiency eta is equal to 1 minus, that means mechanical work by amount of heat energy absorbed, that is equal to 1 minus q2 by q1, where q2 is the heat energy rejected to the sink, q1 is the heat energy absorbed from the source. Okay, so here this is also equal to 1 minus t2 by t1. T2 is the temperature of the sink, T1 is the temperature of the source. Okay, this is the general formula for efficiency of the heat engine. Percentage efficiency means 100. Okay, now we are going to derive this formula. We are going to derive this formula. Okay, this formula we know according to the fundamental definition of efficiency of the heat engine only, the amount of work done by amount of heat energy absorbed, that is the equal to efficiency. But how we got this one? We are going to derive this formula. Okay, already based on this formula, you have done the problems also. Now, theory. Derivation for efficiency of heat engine. Derivation for efficiency of heat engine. Efficiency of heat engine. Here already I said in this heat engine the important parts are sink, it is a sink, it is maintained at a temperature T1 constant having high thermal capacity or specific heat. Okay, here insulating stand. It is the insulating stand. Here, so one is sink, next insulating stand, insulating stand. Next source, sorry, it is the source. It is the source. It is the source at a temperature T1 and it is the sink at a temperature T2. It is also having high thermal capacity or specific heat. Due to that, even the sink takes the heat energy. Here, sink takes the heat energy, absorbs the heat energy, or loses the heat energy. The temperature does not change. Here, the side, upper face of the sink is made of thermally conducting. It is also thermally conducting, but the side walls are thermally non-conducting. Side walls are thermally non-conducting. Here, it is the thermally non-conducting material only. Okay. Now, in a cylindrical vessel, by means of a frictionless piston, some gas is enclosed. Here, in the cylindrical vessel, the walls of the cylindrical vessel are made of thermally non-conducting material, but the bottom of the vessel is made of thermally conducting material, because there must be exchange of heat energy between the system and surroundings through this bottom. That's why bottom is made of thermally non-conducting material. Here, by means of this frictionless piston, it is also made of thermally non-conducting only. Some gas is enclosed. That is called, that gas or substance enclosed in this cylindrical vessel. That is the working substance. Working substance. Steam is the working substance in steam engines. Petrol is the working substance in motorcycles like internal combustion heat engines, like that. Okay, here it is the working substance. Now, first, here, at first you keep this over the source. At first you keep the working substance over the source. Then these sides are closed, and only there is a thermal contact between this source and the working substance. Due to that, the temperature of this working substance reaches a constant. After some time, the temperature of this working substance reaches the temperature of the source. So thermal equilibrium is attained. When thermal equilibrium is attained, at that time, whenever the piston is raised, you just imagine this is kept over this one. Okay, then thermal equilibrium is reached. After that, when the system or working substance is allowed to expand by moving the piston upwards. Actually, whenever it is kept here, then the heat energy transmission takes place from the source to the working substance, and after some time, the temperature of the working substance reaches the temperature of the source. Okay, at that time, when the gas is allowed to expand, then temperature falls, but immediately the source supplies the heat energy and maintains the temperature of the working substance constant. But here, as the gas is expanded, then some external work is done. So here, at first here, I will draw the graph. PV graph. Here, at first, isothermal expansion takes place. At first, isothermal expansion takes place. From here, at constant temperature T1, whenever the gas is allowed to expand, some work is done, external work is done on the surroundings. That's why here, at first, isothermal expansion takes place. Here, suppose the pressure of the gas is say P1, volume is V1, and the temperature is say T1. Because initially, whenever the working substance is kept on the source, after some time, the temperature of the source and the working substance both are equal. At that time, temperature is equal to temperature of the source at this position initially. So now, when the gas is allowed to expand, because whenever the heat energy is absorbed, pressure increases. When pressure increases, then the gas does some work on the surroundings. Due to that, the piston displaces. So some mechanical work is done. When mechanical work is done, immediately the internal energy decreases, so pressure decreases. So temperature also falls. But immediately source supplies the heat energy to maintain the temperature constant. That's why in isothermal process, isothermal expansion takes place from A to B. At B, suppose the pressure becomes say P2, volume becomes say V2, and the temperature becomes say temperature is T1 only, because isothermal expansion takes place here. Isothermal expansion takes place. So from A to B, isothermal expansion takes place. Isothermal expansion. So from A to B, isothermal expansion takes place. Next. So A to B, isothermal expansion takes place. Next, here after isothermal expansion takes place, now the pressure becomes P2, volume becomes V2 because of the expansion, volume increases now. Volume increases, pressure decreases because of expansion, and the temperature is maintained constant because it is kept over the source. It always supplies the heat energy to maintain the temperature of the working substance constant, but pressure volume changes. So now this working substance, that means this cylindrical cylinder in which working substance is kept, that is kept over the insulating stand. That is here, this working substance is taken away from the source and it is kept over the insulating stand. When it is kept over the insulating stand, the bottom surface of the cylindrical vessel is closed by means of insulating stand. That's why the entire working substance is in a thermally non-conducting vessel. Whenever the bottom is also closed with the insulating stand or thermally non-conducting stand, then this entire working substance is enclosed in a thermally non-conducting material. Then whatever the expansion or compression, that is the adiabatic process, because there is no possibility to exchange the heat energy between the system and the surroundings. Okay, that's why adiabatic process takes place. So here, this cylindrical vessel is removed from the source and kept on the insulating stand, and again the gas is allowed to expand. Due to that, adiabatic expansion takes place and temperature falls. Here, temperature falls, pressure falls, and volume increases. Okay, up to C, it will take place. At C, the pressure becomes a P3, volume becomes a V3, and temperature becomes a T2. Temperature becomes T2. Okay. If the temperature of this working substance falls to T2, volume increases to V3, and pressure becomes P3, decreases to P3. So, in second case, from B to C, adiabatic expansion takes place. After adiabatic expansion takes place, temperature of the working substance becomes T2. At that time, it is kept over. Now, it is removed from the insulating stand and kept over the sink. It is kept over the sink. Okay, now the temperature of the working substance becomes T2 and temperature of the sink also T2. Then there is no exchange of heat energy between the working substance and the sink. Okay, now suppose this cylindrical vessel is kept over the sink. Now again the bottom becomes conducting. There is a possibility for the exchange of heat energy between the sink and the working substance. Okay, now whenever this is kept over this cylindrical vessel is kept over the sink, and the gas is allowed to compress. Gas is allowed to compress. Whenever the gas is allowed to compress, then work is done on the working substance so that temperature increases. Temperature increases. But in order to maintain the temperature constant, whatever the amount of work done on the working substance, some heat energy is produced, and that heat energy is transferred to the sink only to maintain the temperature constant. Whenever the gas is allowed to compress here, work is done on the system. Due to that, internalized increase, so temperature increases. Temperature increases. But to maintain the temperature constant, here the working substance transmits the heat energy, a part of heat energy to the sink through this lower part, and it maintains the temperature constant. So in this way, at constant temperature, isothermal compression takes place. At constant temperature, isothermal compression takes place up to T. At D, pressure becomes say P4, volume becomes say V4, and temperature becomes same, T2 only. Whatever the temperature here, heat temperature is same, T2 only. Okay, now at the constant temperature T2, isothermal compression takes place. Pressure and volumes becomes P4, V4 like that. Of course, here we have to write as the x coordinate is this one. Of course, I have written only coordinates. Coordinates means not based on this x axis, y axis. Just x axis means we have to write first volume next to pressure, because x coordinate must be written first. No, so you write x coordinate first. X coordinate first. Okay, so here volume V1, pressure P1. Here volume V2, pressure P2, temperature T1. Here volume V3, pressure P3, temperature T2. Here volume V4, pressure P4, temperature T2. Okay, next, this working substance or the cylindrical vessel is removed from the sink after reaching the state D, and it is kept on the insulating stand again. Insulating stand again. Now the temperature of whenever the cylinder is kept over the inciting stand, the temperature is T2. At the time, whenever the gas is further compressed, because the pressure has to increase to P1, it is now P4 only. Okay, now it is kept over the inciting stand and gas is allowed to compress further. When gas is allowed to compress further, then the pressure gradually increases. Gas is allowed to compress. Here, adiabatic compression takes place now. Whenever the pressure increases here, as the gas is allowed to compress, then work is done on the system. So temperature increases, but there is no loss of heat energy by the working substance to the insulating stand. Previously, as there is a sink, it takes the heat energy, but here there is no possibility. That's why whenever the gas is allowed to compress, has no chance for the system to lose heat energy to the surroundings or gains heat energy from the surroundings. Adiabatic compression takes place. When adiabatic compression takes place, then the volume of the gas gradually decrease. When volume of the gas gradually decreases and pressure increases, and finally the system come back to the initial state A. In this way, cyclic process takes place. Here from A to B, isomeral expansion, B to C, B to C, adiabatic expansion, A to B, isothermal expansion, B to C, adiabatic expansion, C to D, isothermal compression, D to A, adiabatic compression. In this way, four different types of process take place in the cyclic process in any type of heat engine. In any type of heat engine. Here it is the isothermal process now. Siddharth, it is the isothermal process. In isothermal process, temperature is constant, but as a volume increase and pressure decrease at a constant temperature. That's why here, whatever the temperature, here also temperature is same. Here it is the isothermal compression. Whatever the temperature here, the temperature is also same. Only during adiabatic expansion, adiabatic expansion, adiabatic compression, only temperature changes. Okay. So now, in this case, A to B is the isothermal expansion. In isothermal expansion, what is the work done and what is the heat energy produced? In isothermal process, there is no change in the internal energy. The heat energy supplied is equal to amount of work done only. Since dQ is equal to du plus dW. In isothermal process, change in energy is zero. That's why heat energy supplied is equal to work done only. Therefore, whenever the isothermal expansion takes place from A to B, the heat energy supplied is say Q1. Because whenever the isothermal expansion takes place here, source supplies the heat energy to the working substance to maintain the temperature constant. That's why the heat energy supplied by the source to the working substance is equal to amount of work done. That is equal to the area under this AB curve and volume axis. Okay. What is the formula for amount of work done in isothermal process? Already we derived the formula for work done in isothermal process now. What is the formula? What is the formula for work done in isothermal process? nRT ln V2 by V1 we can write now. Suppose the number of moles of the working substance taken here is a N. Nr into temperature T1 is constant in this process. T1 into ln final volume by initial volume. Final volume here is V2 and here is V1. So V2 by V1. This is equation 1. Okay, next. Second one. B2C. B2C is the, what is the B2C process? What is B2C process? Which type of process takes place? B2C. Adiabatic expansion. Okay. B2C. Adiabatic expansion. In case of adiabatic process, dQ is 0 because no exchange of heat energy between the system and surroundings. That's why here in adiabatic process, dQ is equal to 0. That's why in this case, whatever the amount of work done, that is equal to change in internal energy. So in this case, what is the formula for work done? In this case, the formula for work done is equal to W2 is equal to Nr by gamma minus 1 into T1 minus T2 no? Nr by gamma minus 1 into initial temperature minus final temperature. Initial temperature T1, final temperature T2. So T1 minus T2. T1 minus T2. That is the formula for work done in adiabatic expansion. Okay, next, third one. from C to D process. C to D. What is C to D process? Isothermal compression. No? Isothermal compression. So in this process, no doubt in isothermal compression, heat energy supplied is equal to work done only. That heat energy lost here because compression takes place. When compression takes place, heat energy is lost. That heat energy lost is equal to Q2, which is equal to numerically equal to work done in this process. That is equal to, what is the formula for work done in isothermal process? Formula is same. NR temperature here in isothermal compression, the temperature T2 is constant. That's why T2 into ln final volume by initial volume. That means V4 by V3. Okay, this is equation 2. This is equation 3. So from this we can write V4 by V3. Okay, that can be written as, here work done is negative no actually. When the process takes isothermal compression takes place here, then this volume is less than this volume. V4 is less than V3. Okay, that's why you write, this can be written as this is equal to, just you write the in reverse order, then we can write minus sign, minus nRT2 ln V3 by V4. While doing calculation, it becomes simpler if you write like this, so we can see. Next, it is Q3 now. Q3. Next, fourth one. Again, adiabatic compression takes place. In adiabatic compression, from D to A, adiabatic compression takes place. Adiabatic compression. Okay. In adiabatic compression, work done W4 is equal to, in adiabatic compression, work done W4 is equal to, here why I have written minus sign means it is the heat energy rejected to the sink. Minus sign represents heat energy rejected to the sink at the constant temperature T2. That's why I have written minus sign. In terms of minus, I have written. Okay. Here Q1 is positive only because here actually why it is minus means V4 by V3. V4 is greater. V3 is greater than V4. V3 is greater than V4. That's why V3 by V4, if you write, you will get minus sign. V3 is greater, no. Now it becomes positive value, so that work done is negative. This work done is equal to amount of heat energy rejected. ఇక్కడ ఎంత నెగిటివ్ వర్క్ అయితే జరిగిందో అంటే గ్యాస్ కంప్రెస్ అయింది కాబట్టి అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ హీట్ energy that work done is converted into heat energy and rejected to the sink. That's why in terms of minus sign I have written. Next, in adiabatic compression, work done W4 is equal to NR by gamma minus 1. NR by gamma minus 1 into initial temperature minus final temperature. ఇక్కడ initial temperature T2, final temperature T1. కాబట్టి T2 minus T1. T2 minus T1. This can be written as T1 minus T2 is here there, no. Here also negative work is done, no, because volume decreases. So that's why you have to represent it with minus sign. So you write like this, minus NR by gamma minus 1 into T1 minus T2 you write. This is equation, it is equation 2, which is equation 3, and it is 4. So during all process, we have written the formulas for heat energy is absorbed and heat energy rejected, amount of work done in all cases. Okay, therefore, net work done is what? Net work done. Net work done in entire process is equal to, net work done in entire process is equal to W1 plus W2 plus W3 plus W4. Right. Okay, this is equal to, you see here W2 and W4 both are equal in magnitude but opposite sign. That's why W2 and W4 will be cancelled now. W4 and W2 will be cancelled. Okay, then W1 means this is W1. nRT1 into ln V2 by V1. Okay, plus W3 means minus nRT2 ln V3 by V4. This is the net work done, because when you find the net work done, to find the efficiency formula, efficiency is equal to net work done by heat energy absorbed, no? That's why we have to calculate the net work done in this process. Of course, if there is a possibility to find the area enclosed by this closed curve, that is also equal to this value only, net work done only. But here we cannot find the area under the area enclosed by this curve, because this curve equations are not there. That's why we cannot find directly. Okay. So now, therefore, net work done is equal to W1 plus W3, which is equal to NRT2, NRT1 ln V2 by V1 minus NRT2 ln V3 by V4. Okay, now, shall I raise this one? Already we have written now. Okay, I can erase this also. No problem. Okay, therefore, we know the net work done and heat energy absorbed from the source, that is Q1 only. Here in the cyclic process, heat energy absorbed only in this process, that is Q1. And heat energy rejected only in this process. Heat energy rejected to the sink is represented with Q2, no? Q2, right? So heat energy rejected to the sink only in this process. Whenever isothermal expansion takes place, heat energy is taken from the source. When isothermal compression takes place, heat energy is rejected to the sink. So it is the heat energy rejected, it is the heat energy absorbed. Only we need these two. Okay, now efficiency of the heat engine. Efficiency of the Carnot heat engine, eta is equal to, general formula is the amount of useful work, that means net work done, by amount of heat energy absorbed, heat absorbed. Heat absorbed means in this process only heat absorbed is Q1 only. Q2 is the heat rejected. So therefore, eta is equal to net work done means this one. NRT1 ln V2 by V1 minus NRT2 ln V3 by V4 whole by heat energy absorbed means in first process from A to B, heat energy absorbed is equal to work done only, no? That means NRT1 ln V2 by V1 we got, no? Here in isothermal process, whatever the heat energy absorbed, that is equal to work done. That's why heat energy absorbed is equal to work done only. Okay, NRT1 ln V2 by V1. Okay, now in this formula, NR can be calculated because in all NR can be cancelled. NR is there in all terms. That's why you can cancel. Or you split them. You split them here. When you split them, this will be cancelled. So 1 minus this by this. NR cancel. Then T2 by T1 into ln V3 by V4 by ln V2 by V1. Okay. Here 1 minus T2 by T1 into ln V3 by V4 by ln V2 by V1. Okay, now what about the relations among these? That is important. So whenever adiabatic process takes place, in case of BC and DA, in case of BC process and DA process, along B2C and D2A, along B2C and D2A, in adiabatic process, which is the adiabatic process, no? Adiabatic process. In adiabatic process, we can write P to of gamma is equal to constant, no? In adiabatic process, we can write P to of gamma is equal to constant. So P2 V2 of gamma. In BC process, P2 V2 2 of gamma is equal to here P3 V3 2 of gamma, both are equal. Here, when adiabatic process takes place, the same system, whenever adiabatic expansion takes place, volume increases from V2 to V3, pressure changes decreases from P2 to P3. That's why the adiabatic process or adiabatic expansion or compression, P V2 of gamma is equal to constant equation is obeyed. That's why P2 V2 of gamma is equal to P3 V3 to the power of gamma we can write. And also from C to D. And also here from D to A, that is also adiabatic process only, no? So in this we can write here P4 V4 to the power of gamma, P4 V4 to the power of gamma is equal to here P1 V1 to the power of gamma. Okay, here this is say this equation is say 5, this equation is say 6. Next, A to B and C to D. These are the isothermal process. So along A to B and C to D, as isothermal process is there, isothermal expansion of compression, isothermal process. Okay, we can write from A to B as the temperature is constant. P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. We can write now. P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. Because in isothermal process, gases obey Boyle's law. PV is called constant. That's why P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2 here. In this process, P3 V3 is equal to P4 V4. P4 V4. It is 7. Okay, now, so by these equations, we can prove eta is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1 because V3 by V4, V2 by V1 both are equal. We can show. I will show here. Okay, now you see here P3 V3 to the power of gamma. P3 V, you see here P3 V3 to the power of gamma. V3 to the power of gamma by P4 V4 to the power of gamma. P4 V4 to the power of gamma. Because we need the relation between V3 V4 and V2 V1. Okay, that is equal to P3 V2 to V3 to the power of gamma means P2 V2 to the power of gamma. P2 V2 to the power of gamma by P4 V4 to the power of gamma means P1 V1 to the power of gamma. You write P1 V1 to the power of gamma. Okay, now from this relation you see, from this relation P1 by P2 or P2 by P1 is equal to V1 by V2 we can write now. P2 by P1 is equal to V1 by V2 we can write. Okay, now we substitute the data. P3 by P4 here. P3 by P4 is equal to V3 by V4 we can write now. P3 by P4 means V3 by V4 we can write into V3 to the power of gamma by V4 to the power of gamma is equal to. Okay, here P2 by P1 means P2 by P1 is equal to V1 by V2 we can write now. Instead of P2 by P1 you write V1 by V2 into V2 to the power of gamma by V1 to the power of gamma. Okay, from this equation you see here V3 to the power of gamma plus 1, V4 to the power of gamma plus 1. V3 to the power of gamma plus 1 by V4 to the power of gamma plus 1 we can write. V3 into V3 to the power of gamma means V3 to the power of gamma plus 1. Okay, similarly this is equal to here. How we can write this one? So is it correct or not? P3 by P4. P3 V3 to the power of gamma by P4 V to the power of gamma is equal to P2 V to the power of gamma by P1 V1 to the power of gamma. Here P3 by P4. P3 by P4 is equal to V4 by V3. No? Here V4 by V3. Sorry, V4 by V3. V4 by V3. Okay. Here you see P3 by P4 is what? P3 by P4 is equal to V4 by V3. So here we have write V4 by V3. Okay, now from this you see here V3 to the power of gamma into V3 to the power of minus 1. That means V3 to the power of gamma minus 1 by V4 to the power of gamma by, that means V4 to the power of minus 1. That means V4 to the power of gamma minus 1 we can write. Similarly here V2 to the power of gamma minus 1, because V2 to the power of gamma by V2 means V2 to the power of gamma minus 1 by V1 to the power of gamma by V1. That means V1 to the power of gamma minus 1. Here as V3 by V4 whole to the power of gamma minus 1, V2 by V1 whole to the power of gamma minus 1. Powers can be cancelled, both are equal. That's why V3 by V4 is equal to V2 by V1. So in this formula, you see V3 by V4, V2 by V1, both are equal. That's why these two cancel now from this 5. Then remaining is only 1 minus T2 by T1. Therefore, ln V3 by V4 is equal to ln V2 by V1. Okay, hence, therefore, from 5, eta is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. Eta is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. This is the formula for efficiency, which is also equal to, eta is equal to, or eta is equal to, already we know W net work done by amount of heat energy absorbed from the source. Already net work done, already I said, net work done is equal to Q1 minus Q2 we got by Q1. So that is equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q1. Therefore, eta is equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q1. That is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. This is the formula for efficiency of the any heat engine. Efficiency of the any heat engine, which converts the heat energy into mechanical work. Okay. Okay, Nana. P3 by P4 is equal to V4. P3 by P4. P3 by P4 is equal to V4 by V3. V4 by V3. Okay. Right. So this is the formula for efficiency of the heat engine. Okay. Here, any heat engine operates between these temperatures T1 and T2. And that means temperature of the source and temperature of the sink. These are the operating temperatures. Okay, these are the operating temperatures of the heat engine. Temperature of the source and the temperature of the sink. These are the operating temperatures. Okay. In operating temperatures, whose value is less, that is the temperature of the sink. Whose value is more, that is the temperature of the source. Okay. Now, shall I write this part? Shall I write this part? Okay, I will upload RAM. I will upload video. Today's video also. Some note points here. Of course, eta is equal to efficiency is equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q1. That is called 1 minus T2 by T1. Percentage of efficiency. Percentage of efficiency is equal to eta into 100. Percentage of efficiency means eta into 100. Of course, this can be written as W by Q1 also. Network done by amount of heat energy absorbed. We can write. Okay. So percentage of efficiency means into 100. So 1 minus Q2 by Q1 into 100, 1 minus Q2 by T1 into 100, W net by Q1 into 100 we can write. Okay. W net by Q1 into 100 we can write for percentage efficiency. Okay. Operating temperatures. Operating temperatures of heat engine. Carnot heat engine or a heat engine. Heat engine are T1 and T2. Here T1 greater than T2. Okay. For 100 to increase the efficiency, what we have to do? Increase efficiency, eta. What we have to do? To increase the efficiency, T1 minus T2 must be increased. T1 minus T2 by T1 means T1 minus T2 must be increased. To increase the T1 minus T2 value, T2 value should be decreased. Okay, by lowering the temperature of the sink. Okay, or by taking the T1 large, or T2 would be less. We can increase to increase efficiency. T1 must be increased. T1 must be increased, or T2 must be decreased. అంటే టెంపరేచర్ ఆఫ్ ది సోర్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ చేయాలి లేదా టెంపరేచర్ ఆఫ్ ది సింక్ డిక్రీజ్ చేసి we can increase the efficiency of the heat engine. Okay, in order to have 100% efficiency, for 100% of efficiency, 100% efficiency రావాలంటే ఈ దీంట్లో T2 0 అవ్వాలి. T2 0 అయిపోయిందంటే for 100% efficiency the temperature of the sink must be 0 Kelvin. Then eta percentage of efficiency is 100%. But 0 Kelvin temperature is not attainable temperature in laboratory, in actual practice. So that's why 100% efficiency, the heat engine with 100% efficiency is not possible because T2 is equal to 0 Kelvin temperature. This 0 Kelvin temperature is not attainable temperature actually. Okay, that's why 100% efficiency construction of the heat engine with 100% efficiency is not possible. Okay. Next. So this is about the Carnot's heat engine. Next one problem is there. I will say one more point. Here two heat engines are connected in series. Okay, it is first heat engine, it is the second heat engine. They are connected in series means the sink is connected to the source of the next heat engine. Then they are said to be in series. Okay. For this, you see, efficiency of this heat engine is, suppose the temperature of the sink here is say T3. Now efficiency of the first heat engine is eta 1, efficiency of the second heat engine is eta 2. Then eta 1 is equal to 1 minus temperature of the sink by temperature of the source for this first heat engine. That means 1 minus T2 by T1. Okay, next efficiency of the second heat engine is, the temperature of the sink for the first heat engine becomes temperature of the source for the second heat engine. That's why 1 minus temperature of the sink for the second heat engine is T3 by temperature of the source for the second heat engine, which is the temperature of the sink for the first heat engine. That's why T2. So it is eta 2. See. So based on this concept also, you will be given problem. Okay. So this is about Carnot's heat engine. Okay. Now refrigerator. Okay. Shall I write this part? Already Ram notes is sent for this all thermodynamics total entire chapter. No, thermodynamics entire chapter notes is already sent to you. Only 3 pages I sent. Okay. Today I will send. Today I will send that remaining pages. Total thermodynamics chapter I will send. Okay. Shall I raise? Okay, now refrigerator. Refrigerator. It is the reverse process of the heat engine. In heat engine, heat is extracted from the source and rejected to the sink by doing some work. Okay, it is reverse process of the heat engine. So here In this refrigerator also there are source and sink. In this refrigerator also there are source and sink. Here it is the working substance. It is the source. Source at a temperature T1. Actually, in refrigerator, source means these are the surroundings. Source means these are the surroundings in case of refrigerator. Surroundings means the space around the refrigerator. That means air. Air is the surroundings for this. Okay, here it is the working substance. Working substance in the refrigerator. Now, here it is the sink. Sink at a temperature T2. It is the substance kept inside the refrigerator which is to be cooled. Substance to be cooled inside the refrigerator. Okay, here by performing some work on the working substance, heat energy is extracted from the sink. Heat energy is extracted from the sink. Okay, that's why here from the sink heat energy extracted is equal to Q. Without doing here, actually, whenever no work is done, the working substance cannot take the heat energy from the sink and transfer to source. Here, without doing any external efforts, without putting any external efforts or without doing any work on the working substance, okay, this cannot take heat energy from the sink, because by doing some work here, whenever this gas, this system or the substance is allowed to expand, this gas is allowed to expand, then temperature decreases. When temperature decreases below the temperature of the sink, then immediately the heat energy transmission takes place from sink to this working substance. And ఇక్కడ దీని మీద వర్క్ చేసి మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే దీన్ని ఎక్స్పాండెడ్ గా చేయడం వల్ల టెంపరేచర్ ఫాల్ అవుతుంది. ఇక్కడ టెంపరేచర్ ఫాల్ అయినప్పుడు whenever the temperature of this working substance decreases below the temperature of the sink, then the heat energy transmission takes place from high temperature. This becomes high temperature compared with the temperature of the sink now. That's why the heat energy transmission takes place from sink to the working substance. That heat energy extracted from the sink to the working substance is equal to Q2. This is possible only by doing work on the working substance. Otherwise, it is not possible. ఇక్కడ ఈ వర్కింగ్ సబ్స్టెన్స్ హీట్ అని అబ్జర్వ్ చేసుకోవాలంటే సింక్ నుంచి దీని టెంపరేచర్ దీనికంటే తక్కువ ఉండాలి. దీని టెంపరేచర్ దీనికంటే తక్కువ ఉండాలి. సో బై డూయింగ్ సమ్ వర్క్ on the working substance, that some heat energy is extracted from the sink. Okay, that heat energy extracted or absorbed from the sink by the working substance is equal to Q2. Okay, now this Q2 and this W both together converted into heat energy and that is rejected to the source. Okay, this is say Q1. From the diagram it is very clear that the Q1 is equal to Q2 plus W. Q1 is equal to Q2 plus W. Okay, from this work done is equal to Q1 minus Q2. Work done is equal to Q1 minus. So here in case of this one, the ratio between the amount of heat energy observed here, which refrigerator we can say more efficient, which refrigerator we can say more efficient, which cools the substance early, which cools the substance kept inside the refrigerator very as early as possible, then we can say that refrigerator is more efficient. That means here by which refrigerator is said to be more efficient means by doing small work, if more heat energy is extracted from the substance, this sink, such type of refrigerator is said to be more efficient. And ఇక్కడ వర్క్ తక్కువ జరుగుతోంది అంటే పవర్ కన్జంప్షన్ తక్కువ ఉంటుంది అని. అంటే in case of refrigerators, in order to do this work done, some electrical power is required. In order to do this work, some electrical power is required. By doing less work, if more heat energy is taken from the sink. Sink అంటే ఇక్కడ the substance which is to be cooled. Okay, ఎక్కువ హీట్ energy నుంచి ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేసి తక్కువ వర్క్ జరిగినట్టు తక్కువ పవర్ కన్జ్యూమ్ అవుతుంది. By utilizing the small power or by consuming less power, if more heat energy is extracted, then it cools very quickly. Such type of refrigerators we can say having more efficiency. Okay, that's why here in order to find the here in case efficiency not, we should not use the term efficiency in case of refrigerator. That refrigerator which by doing less work, which refrigerator extracts more heat energy from the sink, that is called the coefficient of performance of the refrigerator. Ikkada, in order to extract the heat energy from the sink, which is whose temperature is less than the temperature of the surroundings, we have to do work on the working substance. By doing work on the working substance, the temperature of the working substance is below the temperature of the sink. Then immediately heat energy transmission takes place from net transfer of heat energy takes place from sink to the working substance. That amount of heat energy transferred from sink to the working substance is equal to Q2. Okay. Without doing work, we cannot extract the heat energy Q2 from the sink. Okay. Hence, the refrigerator in which by doing less work, more heat energy is extracted from the sink, then such type of refrigerator is said to be having more coefficient of performance. So the ability of the refrigerator to cool the substance is measured in terms of coefficient of performance of the refrigerator. The ability of the heat engine to convert the heat energy into mechanical work, that is measured in terms of efficiency. But here, coefficient of performance of the refrigerator. Coefficient of performance of refrigerator, that is represented with beta. That is represented with beta. Coefficient of performance of the refrigerator is equal to amount of heat energy extracted by amount of work done. If more heat energy is extracted from the sink and less amount of work done, the coefficient of performance of the refrigerator will be high. So always we have to purchase the refrigerator with more coefficient of performance of the refrigerator. Food that is kept inside the refrigerator is the working substance. Sorry, the sink. Already I have written here now. Substance to be cooled. Substance to be cooled is the sink. That means whatever the substance you keep inside the refrigerator, that is the sink. Okay. So now from this formula, beta is equal to Q2 by W. Q2 by W, that is equal to Q2 by W means what? Q1 minus Q2, no? Q1 minus Q2. That is equal to 1 by, we can write Q1 by Q2 minus 1. We can write Q1 by Q2 minus 1. We can write. Already we shown 1 by Q1 by Q2 is equal to, already we have shown previously, Q1 by Q2 is equal to, we have written T1 by T2. Because 1 minus Q2, 1 minus, what is the formula we got? 1 minus Q2 by Q1, that is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. Q2 by Q1 is equal to, we have shown T2 by T1. No? So here also same. Q1 by Q2 is equal to T1 by T2. So instead of Q1 by Q2, you write T1 by T2 minus 1. Therefore, beta is equal to Q2 by Q1 minus Q2, we can write, or when you take LCM, we can have T2 by T1 minus T2. This is the coefficient of performance of the refrigerator. Percentage means into 100. Okay, this is also very, very important. Here we have to remember this formula also. Work net work done is equal to heat energy rejected to the surroundings and heat energy extracted from the sink. From this, it is very clear. You see, heat energy absorbed from the sink or heat energy absorbed by the refrigerator from the substance kept inside the refrigerator is Q2. Heat energy rejected to the source. Source means heat energy rejected by the refrigerator to the surrounding air in the room. That is Q1. Is Q1 is more or Q2 is more? Is Q1 is more or Q2 is more? Q1 is more. That means inside the refrigerator, it takes less amount of heat energy from the substance kept inside the refrigerator and rejects more heat energy to the air. That's why the temperature of the room gets heated when refrigerator is kept in the room. That's why the refrigerators must be kept at the near the windows, so that whatever the heat produced there, heat rejected to the air, that heat will escape out to the windows. We should not keep the refrigerators in the closed room. That must be kept near the windows. Okay. So here heat taken from the sink is less, the heat taken from the sink, that is less than the heat rejected to the source. So based on this concept, you tell me, as the substance kept inside the refrigerator is cooled by the refrigerator, suppose if you open the door, if you open the door of the refrigerator, by opening the door of the refrigerator, can we cool the room? Can we cool the room by opening the refrigerator? No. When you open the refrigerator, the air, some air enter into the refrigerator. They apply some volume inside the refrigerator. That air inside the refrigerator, from air inside the refrigerator, some heat energy is extracted, which is Q2, and rejected to the remaining air more heat energy. That's why room gets heated up. So because the heat energy taken from the substance kept inside the room, inside the refrigerator, is less than the heat energy rejected to the surroundings. That is more. Heat energy rejected to the surroundings is more than the heat energy taken from the substance kept inside the refrigerator. That's why we cannot cool the room by opening the door of the refrigerator. So that is the note point. We cannot cool the room by opening door of refrigerator. Door of refrigerator. So we cannot in order to cool the air, it takes less heat energy and more heat energy rejected to the remaining air. That's why temperature of the room increases. Okay. So that's why when you open the door, when you open the door of the refrigerator, then room will be warmed up, heated up. Okay. Next, last point in this chapter. Entropy. Last topic in this chapter, entropy. Before discuss the entropy concept, first we should know what is the disorderness. What is the disorderness? Suppose in a vessel, one example, first I will explain. What is the disorderness I have to discuss? Suppose in a large container and a small container, there are 4 molecules, 3 molecules or 4 molecules like this. All are having same kinetic energies. All are having same kinetic energies. In this also there are 4 molecules only. These are also having same kinetic energies. These are also having same number of molecules and same kinetic energies. But here there is a more possibility to move freely. These molecules can move freely through more area, more volume. These molecules cannot move freely in this compared with this one. That's why here disorderness here is more, disorderness here is less. Here the molecules in this vessel, the molecules can move freely through more volume. That's why they can move. Here the disorderness of these molecules is said to be more. Disorderness of these molecules will be said to be less. Okay. So therefore, disorderness means that here the measure of disorderness of the system, that is the entropy. The measure of disorderness of the system is called entropy. The rate here, the measure of disorderness or randomness of the system. Here, less disorder, more disorder. Less disorder, more disorder. Okay. The measure of disorderness of the system or measure of randomness of the system is called the entropy. The measure of disorderness of system is called the measure of disorderness of the system is called an entropy. Okay, now some more example I want to discuss. Here available space is less, here available space is more. That means volume is more. That's why the molecules can move in all directions. Okay, that's why here disorderness is more, here disorderness is less. That's why these are having less entropy because they are having less disorderness. The measure of disorderness is the entropy, no? That's why in this container, container 1, container 2. Therefore, in container 1, entropy is less. Entropy of system is less. In container 2, entropy of system is more. That's why if the disorderness is more, entropy is said to be more. If disorderness is less, entropy is said to be less. Okay, now mathematically, how I can define the entropy? Entropy gives the disorderness of the system, or it is a measure of disorderness of the system. Here, whenever the energy of the atoms or molecules are even though same, they are having less space to move. That's why disorderness is said to be less here. So entropy is more. Here, entropy is represented by S. Change in entropy is delta S. Okay. Entropy is equal to amount of energy contained in it. Here, the energy of the atoms or molecules in a system is not useful to do any work. It is inherently stored. With that energy, they move randomly. Okay, that cannot be taken from them. So that energy stored at a given temperature capital T. The ratio between the energy stored in the system by the temperature of the system. System is gas. That is nothing but entropy. Change of entropy. Suppose when you supply some heat energy to the system at the same temperature T, then energy of the system is changed, you know. So the change in energy or the amount of heat energy supplied to the system or taken from the system is delta Q. Delta Q by temperature of the system. So that is the change in entropy. Suppose even for the small change of temperature, if the small change of heat energy, if the temperature changes, in such case, delta S can be written as integral dx. That is equal to integral. ds means dq by t. ds means dq by t. Here the ratio between the amount of heat energy, the ratio between the amount of heat energy supplied to the temperature of the system, that is equal to change in entropy of the system. The ratio between the amount of energy, heat energy contained by the system to the temperature, that is called entropy. Change in entropy means amount of heat energy taken from the system given to the system by temperature of the system. That is called the change in entropy. So what is the SI unit of entropy? SI unit of entropy. SI unit of entropy means joule per Kelvin, no? Joule per Kelvin. CS unit of entropy, calorie per degree centigrade. We can write. What is the dimensional formula of entropy means ml square T to the power of -2 by temperature theta. That means ml square T to the power of -2 theta inverse. That means it is same as that of the universal gas constant. No? In case of universal gas constant also, the dimensional formula is ml square T to the power of -2 theta inverse. Here also same. That's why entropy and universal gas constant, Boltzmann constant, all are having same dimensional formulas. Okay. Now, some note points here. First one, in isothermal process, in isothermal process, in isothermal process, the change in entropy is equal to integral NCV dt by T. Change amount of heat energy supplied in the isothermal process NCV dt by T. Second one, in case of state changes occurs, in case of state changes, that means fusion of ice, boiling of water, etc. State changes occurs. change in entropy delta S is equal to integral ml. That means whenever the state changes occurs, amount of heat is absorbed or amount of heat is rejected is ml by temperature, constant temperature T. These are the different formulas for change in entropy. Okay. Next, what about the temperature of the universe? What about the temperature of the universe? Is it constant or is it increase or is it zero? Third one, entropy of the universe. Entropy of universe. Suppose in the universe there are two containers. In the universe there are two containers. Of course, this is a part of the universe only. Okay. So in the universe, you consider the two systems. These two systems also part of the universe only. Okay. This is one system, this is another system. It is first system, it is the second system. The temperature of the first system is T1, temperature of the second system is T2. T1 greater than T2. T1 greater than T2. Okay. Then whenever these two systems are in the universe, there are two systems. Our universe is divided into two systems, you imagine. Then one system is at higher temperature, another system is at lower temperature. Whenever these two are put in contact, there is a net transfer of heat energy from this system to this system. No, there is a net transfer of heat energy from this system to this system. Okay. Therefore, entropy of this system S1 is equal to, it loses heat energy because as it is at higher temperature, this system loses heat energy to the second system. That's why as it is here, actually entropy of any system is equal to Q by T, no? Q by temperature T1 here. Okay, heat energy lost, that's why you had represented with minus sign. Because of loss of heat energy, what about the disorderness of this system? Because of loss of heat energy, kinetic energy decreases. They cannot move randomly. That's why entropy decreases here. Okay, here, in this case, entropy of this system S2 is equal to entropy here S1, here S2. S2 is equal to, as it absorbs the heat energy, there is a net absorption of heat energy by this system. That's why plus Q by temperature T2. Plus Q by temperature T2. Therefore, change in entropy of the universe. Change in entropy of the universe. Change in entropy of two systems in the universe, or universe we can write universe. In the universe, we have considered the two systems. Our universe is divided into two systems. One system loses heat energy, another system gains heat energy. Then change in entropy of the universe, delta S is equal to, change in entropy of the universe, delta S is equal to total S1 plus, here you see this plus this. That means S1 plus S2 is the total change in entropy of the universe. Because here, because of loss of heat energy, change in entropy of this system is minus Q. This is the Q heat energy loss, that's why minus Q by T1. Change in entropy of this system is equal to heat energy absorbed by temperature T2. Okay, now this is delta S1, delta S2, right? Okay, therefore delta S1 means minus Q by T1 plus delta S2 means plus Q by T2. Now, is it positive or negative? Tell me. Is it positive or negative? Change in entropy of the universe is positive or negative? Tell me. Change in entropy is positive or negative? T1 greater than T2. Heat energy lost, heat energy gained. This is same. T1 greater than T2. As T1 is greater, this negative value will be smaller. This value will be more. That's why it is positive, no? In the whole universe, definitely, if any system loses heat energy, then its entropy decreases. Its entropy decreases. that means disorderliness decreases. The entropy of the other system increases. Disorderliness increases. That's why entropy is said to be increased. That's why there is a net increase in entropy of the system, of the universe, because it is a change in entropy of the universe. It is positive means entropy of the universe always increases. That is very important point. Entropy of the universe is always increases. That means disorderliness of the system always increases. So very important point for objective. Entropy of universe always increases. Entropy of the system is always increases. Okay. Next. Entropy of any system positive, negative, zero ఉండడానికి possibility ఉందా? Suppose when adiabatic process takes place, adiabatic compression, adiabatic expansion, etc. Whenever adiabatic changes takes place, when adiabatic process takes place here, okay, when adiabatic process takes place, heat energy absorbed or heat energy rejected is zero, no? Both one. In adiabatic process or reversible process, in adiabatic process or reversible process, the change in entropy is equal to amount of heat energy lost or gained by temperature T. But in adiabatic process, no exchange of heat energy between the system and surroundings. That's why it is zero. Zero by something, zero. That's why change in entropy in adiabatic process or reversible process is zero. Okay. That's why entropy of any system, entropy of any system may be a change in entropy. Sorry, change in entropy. Change in entropy of any system may be zero, maybe positive, maybe negative. You see, in case of adiabatic process, the change in entropy is zero. In case of this process, change in entropy is negative. In case of this process, change in entropy is positive because heat energy is absorbed here. That's why we got change in entropy positive. That's why the change in entropy of any system may be zero, maybe positive, maybe negative. Okay. So the change in entropy of the system, universe, sorry, change in entropy of, it is change in entropy of any system. I am talking about system only. But change in entropy of universe, change in entropy of universe, delta S. In this case, already change entropy of the universe, change in entropy, change in entropy of universe, change in entropy of universe. Always, okay, sorry, entropy of universe is increased. Okay, it is correct only. The sentence is okay. So entropy of the universe is always increases. Okay, that's why change in entropy of universe, that is increase means positive one, you know. Increase means that is positive value. That means greater than zero. Change in entropy of the universe is greater than zero because we got positive sign. The entropy of the universe always increase means change in entropy is always positive. That means that must be greater than zero. If in the universe adiabatic process takes place, change in entropy of the universe, in the universe, if adiabatic process takes place, because there is a possibility for adiabatic process also. So if in the universe, if adiabatic process takes place, the change in entropy is zero. That's why the change in entropy of the universe is greater than zero or equal to zero, but never be less than zero. That is very important. Change in entropy of the universe is greater than zero or less than zero, equal to zero, but never be less than zero. Okay. Delta S, change in entropy of universe, never be less than zero. Last 5 minutes. one. Temperature versus entropy graph is given. Temperature versus entropy graph is given like this. Here temperature falls and entropy increases. Okay, already we know delta Q, that means change in entropy is equal, sorry, delta S. Change in entropy delta S is equal to change in entropy delta S is equal to delta Q by T, and heat energy absorbed or lost by temperature of the system or substance. That is equal to change in entropy. Okay, from this, that implies delta Q is equal to, that means heat energy exchanges. Delta Q is equal to delta S into T, we can write now. Delta S into T. You see here, temperature changes and entropy also changes. Both are variables. If temperature is constant, then the amount of heat energy absorbed or rejected is equal to delta S into T only. But here S and T both are variables. In that case, for the small for the small change in entropy, whenever the small change in entropy takes place at the constant temperature, then the small amount of heat energy transferred is equal to dq is equal to simply ds into t we can write, or t into ds we can write. T into ds means, suppose here for the small change in entropy, for the small change in entropy ds, here temperature is almost all constant. Then area under this small element is equal to T. This length is T and this is ds. T into ds. It is the area under temperature versus entropy graph. That is numerically equal to small change in small amount of heat energy exchange. Okay, therefore total heat energy exchange delta Q is equal to integral dq. That is equal to integral T into ds. This is the area under. So in this process, the change in entropy is S1 to S2 because of fall of temperature T1 to, here temperature is T1, here temperature is T2. Whenever the temperature falls from T1 to T2, the change in entropy is S1 to S2. Then what is the total heat energy transferred? Delta Q is equal to integral T into ds. This integral T into ds gives area under this temperature versus entropy graph. Antega, TDS is the area under this element. Integral TDS gives that is the area under this entropy temperature entropy graph. So area under graph. Area under temperature versus entropy graph gives the amount of heat energy transferred. Amount of heat energy transferred. Okay, here only one point I will say. Shall I write this one? Once it was given in mains. Last note point. Temperature versus entropy graph is given like this. Temperature versus entropy graph. A cyclic process takes place in the system. In cyclic process, temperature versus entropy graph is given like this. A, B, C. Here temperature is 2T0. Here temperature is T0. Entropy S0. Here entropy 2S0 given. Okay. The cyclic process takes place along this path. Okay. Now, what is the temperature entropy diagram of a reversible engine cycle is given in the figure. What is the efficiency in cyclic process? In the cyclic process, efficiency is what? Efficiency of cyclic process. Eta is equal to question mark. Actually, we know eta is equal to amount of work done by amount of heat energy absorbed. No. Efficiency is equal to amount of work done, net work done by amount of heat energy absorbed means Q1. Here, in this case, you see from A to B, entropy is constant. From A to B, as entropy is constant, entropy is equal to change in entropy delta S is equal to delta Q by temperature delta Q by T, as entropy is constant, change in entropy is 0. That's why delta Q is equal to 0 here. Along this path AB, as the change in entropy is 0, then delta Q is equal to 0. That's why no heat energy is absorbed. So amount of heat energy absorbed along A to B process is equal to 0, since delta S is equal to 0. So no heat energy absorbed in this process. From B to C. From B to C. In B to C process, what is the change in entropy? What is the amount of heat energy absorbed? In B to C process, amount of heat energy absorbed QBC. QBC is equal to, as it is the TS graph, the area under the graph. Area under graph. Because change in entropy delta S is equal to delta Q by T, or delta Q is equal to T into delta S. That means area. Area under TS graph. That's why QBC is equal to, what is the area under BC curve here? Area under BC curve, that is equal to, area under BC curve means it is the trapezium. Okay, area under BC curve means half into sum of the lengths of two parallel sides. It is 2T0, it is 2T0, it is T0. This length is 2T0, this length is T0. So 2T0 plus T0, 2T0 plus T0 into perpendicular distance between two parallel sides means this one, 2S0 minus S0. 2S0 minus S0. Therefore, that is equal to, it is 3T0. It is, so 3T0 S0 by 2 we can write now. It is the amount of heat energy transferred in BC process. Okay. In CA process, C to A process, temperature is constant, change in entropy is there. That's why in BC process, heat energy absorbed is equal to constant temperature into change in entropy. Constant temperature is T0 into change in entropy. When it moves from the C to A, final entropy is S0, initial entropy is 2S0. So S0 minus 2S0, that is equal to minus T0 into S0. That means heat energy is lost here. It is only the heat energy absorbed, as we got the positive sign. Okay, therefore, in this process, what is the heat rejected here? That is minus S0 and minus S0 into T0. Therefore, according to the formula for efficiency, work by amount of heat energy absorbed is equal to, we can write minus Q2 by 1 minus Q2 by Q1. 1 minus Q2 means amount of heat energy rejected. Only this is the heat energy rejected, T0 S0. By amount of heat energy absorbed. That means 3 T0 S0 by 2. T0 S0, T0 S0 cancel. So 1 minus 2 by 3. Therefore, efficiency is equal to 1 by 3 you will get. It is the efficiency of the this cyclic process, 1 by 3. Okay. In this way you have to do. Okay now. So with this chapter is over. So it is only difficult problem, I think, in this chapter, in this entropy concept. Okay, remaining problems you can do. Okay, today we will do the remaining problems and revise remaining chapters. Okay, now bye all of you. Shall I sign out? Okay, bye.